For wrestling diehards only, this is the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.
That's right. It's Tuesday night, which means it's time for another edition of the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast, coming at you live on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, X account, Instagram account, and the Idaho Wrestling News Facebook page as well. And of course, the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast, we do this every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Mountain Time, 7 o'clock Pacific Time. We spend about a half an hour talking boys wrestling, a half an hour talking girls wrestling with our expert panel. And of course, we want to hear from you, the fans. Thanks for being here live tonight with us as you're hanging out in the chat. If you've got a question or a shout out, you want to give a shout out to your favorite wrestler, coach, prepcaster, podcaster, favorite team, whatever it is, throw it in the chat. Or if you have a question for us, throw it in the chat. We'll throw it up on the screen. And we really want you to drive the conversation. Also, while you're hanging out tonight, if you could hit the like button if you're on Facebook, or that subscribe button if you're on YouTube, and then share this when it's all said and done. That'll help everybody else find the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast on replay a little easier. That's right. You can tune into the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast anytime on replay at the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, or X account. You can also listen to the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast at IdahoSports.com or wherever you download and subscribe to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, etc. The Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast brought to you by Green Solutions. They are a longtime sponsor of Idaho wrestling coverage here on IdahoSports.com. Green Solutions Cleaning and Restoration, two brothers born in Rexburg. They've been blessed to find a way to work with one another. As somebody who has two brothers on either side, I'm the middle child. Yeah, brothers working together, that doesn't always end up so well. But their dad put them on the wrestling mat, maybe to get some of that pent-up aggression out. And at 5 years old, and then all throughout their childhood, they had a lot of success in both high school and college. And through wrestling, they learned that having success not only takes hard work, but it's all about putting in more time than your opposition as well. And in their business, they put in the time and the effort and the energy to make them great at what they do. They have an edge, and they can help their customers have a great experience because they are the premium carpet cleaning company in the area. And their main focus over the last 3 years has been in water damage emergencies and disasters, because nobody wants to wake up to a foot of water in the basement. Not ideal. That being said, they've learned how to de-escalate the situation and help the customer through the difficult time. They love East Idaho and are grateful for the area and all of their loyal customers. And big thanks to Green Solutions Cleaning and Restoration for sponsoring the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast here on IdahoSports.com. My name is Brandon Bainey. Let's bring on our panel of experts tonight. Joining us from the Treasure Valley, it is the one, the only, Al Fontes. What's up, Al?
Brandon, not much. How you doing? I'm ready for another good week. This past weekend was a great local competition here in our state, so I look forward to talking about it.
Yeah, and this is going to be the most popular guy, the guy that's going to get 20,000 questions directed his way, because he was at Tiger-Grizz from East Idaho, Brian Solinger. Yo, what's up, Brian?
What's going on, diehards? How we doing?
Good
to see you, Brian.
It's good to be here. Can't wait to talk some wrestling. That was a fun week for sure.
Yes. I like your hat there. Where'd you get that at, Brian?
Attaboy. It's a supplement company out of Park City.
Okay, cool. I like it. Yeah, looks good. So, okay, we always start the show off with the best thing that we saw from the past week of wrestling. Brian, I'll go to you first because you have no shortage of highlights to pick from at the annual Tiger-Grizz Invite over in Idaho Falls. But maybe you'll go off the board and choose something not even Tiger-Grizz related. Who knows? What was the best thing that you saw from the past week?
You know, I thought about going off the board. Rockwell Rumble was fun to kind of see the Idaho's results there, but I'm going to stick local, and I'm doing this because it was fun to see at Tiger-Grizz. There were so many individual matchups and things we could say it was the best, but best thing I saw was Meridian boys winning the tournament. Some really strong Utah schools, Corner Canyon, Syracuse, some Wyoming schools. I think Corner Canyon and Syracuse are, top 5 programs in the state, both big schools, 2,500 kids. So to see Meridian come out, and Post Falls was a close 4th there behind Syracuse and Corner Canyon. But the best thing I saw was Idaho taking the tournament, first place Meridian. Strong wrestling by the Meridian squad for sure.
Yeah, Meridian sending a message to the rest of the state with their performance at Tiger-Grizz, no doubt about it. Al, what was the best thing you saw from the past week?
Just going off what Brian stated, overall great tournament. There's definitely going to be, I'm looking at all the kids in each weight and who is ranked in what division, definitely going to be a shakeup in the rankings. There's going to be some, now that they have to wrestle and put it on the line, there would definitely be a shakeup in the rankings this next couple of weeks. But one of the best matches I had watched was at Jarrett Robinson from Minico up against Blake Nevels, both number one in their respective divisions. I mean, the match went 0-0 in the first two periods. Then Jarrett ended up scoring 7 points in the third round to win that match. Both great wrestlers, but it just shows you number ones get together. It can go either way, and it was a good match.
Yeah, that was a really fun one as well. I usually am fairly light on the best thing that I saw, but guys, I actually got out and got to a wrestling competition finally. Battle for the Paddle on Friday night. Sandpoint and Lakeland in a really fun duel. We had a full lineup of boys matches. Not a full lineup. There were some forfeits in there, and we had 4 girls matches as well. And so if it's all right, I'd like to expand a little bit. And I actually have 3 things that I saw that I really loved from Friday night at Lakeland High School. The first one on the girls' side, and we'll talk more about it when Fred and Val are on at the bottom of the hour, but just quickly, at 100 pounds, Lakeland's Tegan Patrick, for her first ever Battle for the Paddle 2 years ago, she was pinned within the opening minute and lost. And so that's in the back of your mind. You're coming back out for your second ever Battle for the Paddle matchup. And this time, not only did she last all 3 rounds, she gets the win over Mackenzie Donenfeld of Sandpoint, 13-12. So to go from pinned in the opening round 1 year to surviving, all 3 rounds and squeaking out a 1-point win just a year later, I thought that was incredible. I thought that was really fun. The next thing that I saw that I really liked was actually from someone that was on the short end of a matchup. This came on the boys' side at 157 pounds. Cole Cooper from Lakeland, who came into the match undefeated, is still undefeated on the season. Lakeland, because of some injuries, kind of bumped everybody up a weight class. And so where Cole Cooper probably normally would wrestle at 150, he was up at 157. He's going up against this freshman from Sandpoint, Dominic Radigan. And it's like, all right, here you go. Throw you into the fire against this undefeated senior stud. And he held his own. There were so many times throughout the match that I thought Radigan could have folded in, could have thrown in the towel. At one point, Cooper just had him on top, and he was just fighting to keep that other shoulder off the mat, and just the pure grit that he showed to fight through. And he ultimately lost, but to not throw in the towel much earlier in the match when he could have, I thought was pretty impressive for the freshman there, Radigan from Sandpoint. And then the last thing I saw, guys, which was totally awesome, where we were broadcasting from on IdahoSports.com, we were actually broadcasting from the Lakeland Wrestling Room. It's kind of right above the gymnasium in the corner there. And as the wrestling is going on, I kind of kept looking out of the corner of my eye on the wrestling mats in the wrestling room. And there was probably between 15 and 20 young boys and girls ages 5 to about 10. And they're over there grappling and doing their moves and mimicking what the high schoolers are doing. And that's the culture of success at Lakeland that I was really blown away by. So that was pretty cool, Brian, to see all those youngsters out there competing too.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. How can you watch that? I wanted to pull that up and just see how the broadcast went. How do you watch it?
You can go to IdahoSports.com, click on the game streams tab, and then you can go back and look in our archived broadcasts and watch it there. So you can click on demand events, and it'll have all of our previous. You'll see we had to kind of figure it out on the fly. The lineup that Lakeland coach Will Edeblu submitted got changed as the match went along, and so we were kind of scrambling trying to figure out who was wrestling where, and eventually we got it figured out. But all in all, it was still a fun night. So yeah. Okay, well, on that note, then we've got our first comment of the night here from LB Baker. Go Jarrett. That was an awesome match. Yeah, let's start there, Brian. I mean, that was one of the big buzzworthy things that happened from Tiger-Grizz, and in a weekend just chock full of them. But Jarrett Robinson and the way he performed. Outstanding.
Yeah, great tournament. I mean, I don't know if you can even call that an upset. Obviously, Neville's nationally ranked, great kid. And then Robinson goes out and really controls the match. I think it ended up 7-0 or 7-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Robinson looked amazing. And then they get to the finals, and Robinson had an out-of-state kid from Syracuse, Mason Carlson, who's a Minnesota commit. And that was eye-opening too, because Carlson just went out and took it to him. So, huge congrats to Robinson. He is a stud. But I think it was one of the best. And we had a couple upsets right in a row there. The other one right after the Neville's Robinson match, you had Nate Gugelman, who was really dominating the match. I mean, you should have won. You hate to see it, but it's a sport of wrestling. It just shows you the ups and downs. He's up pretty big and gets a left-handed headlock and just can't get out of it. And so, the crowd kind of collectively let out a holy cow when that happened. But it was a fun tournament, just upsets all over. On the girls' side in the finals, we'll get to that later. But, I mean, upset after upset the whole tournament. So great competition, and Robinson looked really good.
Yeah, we ended up with 9 Idaho champions. Bodie Williams from Meridian at 98. We had Grayson Packer from South Fremont at 120. We had Sean Hall, of course, Canyon Ridge at 150. James Hansen from Madison at 157. Mac Hall from West Jefferson winning at 165. Beating Johnston from Highland. I thought that was pretty awesome. Anthony Butler from Eagle wins at 175. Blaze Turner from American Falls at 190. Gage Ponton of Mountain View, Al, one of your favorites, at 215.
Yeah,
and then,
Fargo champion.
Yeah, and then City Conte from Madison at 285 as well. So, Al, of those 9 champions, who stood out the most to you when you looked at the results?
We expected Sean Hall to challenge for it. Hansen's another solid one. I've seen Blaze Turner compete, but the 75-pounders, you had Butler and his teammate were in the finals. So they have 2 solid kids right there from Eagle that can place at state. So I'd say that at that weight, I wasn't sure who was going to win that. So Anthony Butler of Eagle wrestled really well to get into the finals.
Yeah. Brian, you mentioned it. Gugelman at 144 kind of gets knocked off. The kid from Star Valley, Wyoming, ends up winning there. And then all the other champions were from Utah schools. Just in the team race, I thought it was really impressive that Meridian, we kind of talked about it already, but the fact that they won the team title, 253 points, outlasting a really good Syracuse, Utah team, and also a really good Corner Canyon team. Corner Canyon took 3rd. I was pretty surprised by that. Yeah,
I was too. And Post Falls, I think they were down. I didn't see the bigger Hamilton brother. I didn't see him there. So, I don't know if they were missing anybody else, but, it would have been fun to see if they had a full lineup. I think maybe they could have beat those 2 Utah schools as well. And then to see, I think Minico was the top finishing 5A team right up there. So it was good to see that. It's just some really stacked weight classes. Sean Hall, Tex in the finals. Always impressive watching him. That 120 weight class, at the last minute we had a scratch for Edstrom from Madison scratched out of the tournament. But that weight class, Cason Jones, Corner Canyon Greco national champion. So some really good matches there. That Packer Cason Jones finals was fire, and Packer pulls it out by a point, but it was down to the wire. Just all around good wrestling. And 106 Valley from Homedale, 2nd place. A smaller school getting in there and getting a player. Obviously, Packers not a big school either, but Homedale, they had some guys up there, so it was fun to watch.
So Brian was at one Packer the OW for the lightweights.
He was, yeah.
And who was the OW at the heavyweights? Heavier weights.
Blaze Turner, American Falls, was the OW at the heavier weights.
Yeah, I watched him at Raleigh. He's a solid kid. I know he's an All-American, but and a junior, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So really tough heavyweight.
Yeah. Here's Mike Wilder in the chat, guys. Props to Gugelman for wrestling out the rest of the tournament and taking 3rd. We see so many elite guys at this level, and the higher level default out after taking a loss. Yeah, there's something about finishing with pride for sure. Here's Mike Scholes in the chat, guys, on YouTube. Post Falls only took 12, including Xander Scholes, who took 2nd at 285, runner-up to City Conte from Madison. And then we talked about James Hansen from Madison, right? I bet Logan Shaver from Meridian's like, man, I wish you would have just stayed at your previous. I could have, now I got this big roadblock in front of me. I can't wait, to see these guys potentially match up again down the line.
Yeah, that was a fun match too. Hansen has just got a nonstop motor. I mean, that kid is go, go, go. And you mentioned Xander Scholes at Post Falls. What a way to end the night under the spotlight when you had overtime, ultimate tiebreaker. And it came down to a locked hands in overtime. I mean, it was that match had the crowd on its feet. And to end the night like that was, Conte and Scholes put on a great show for sure.
No, I think it's great that we have out of state. Utah's a solid state. I mean, you look at the kids there. I mean, you got Layton is one of the best teams in the country. Just having that talent there gives our kids the opportunity to even become better, to help them refine their skill. And with Raleigh and then the Tri-State having the Washington, Oregon teams, seems like we have a lot of good out-of-state competitions only making our kids get better, especially the ones that are trying to prepare to go to the next level.
Yeah. Any other Tiger-Grizz thoughts overall, guys, before we move on to the other competitions that took place over the weekend?
I can't think of any. No.
Okay. I think we hit the highlights. So I think that was obviously the premier event down in southern Idaho. In northern Idaho, the Clearwater Classic over in Lewiston. Really fun time. We've got a girls wrestling comment from Connor Wood in the chat. Connor, I'm not ignoring you. Our girls wrestling chat will start in about 10 minutes. So I'm just going to hold off until then. But Clearwater, go ahead.
Last comment on Tiger-Grizz, since Connor Wood's out there watching, he did a great job officiating.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. So Clearwater Classic, guys, Lewiston wins on their home mat, 191.5 points. Kellogg was the leader after day one, and they had a lot of guys on the right side of the brackets. And then they took second at 180.5 points, only 11 points behind Lewiston. Al, that to me was eye-opening. Kellogg has performed so well this year. How much have they closed the gap? We won't really know until we get to state, but I don't know. Kellogg's peaking.
That's a trend this year. There's the obvious teams that are going to be in the contention for the state title, top four, but how they end up, it's still too early because there's so many factors. There's no real, 6A, it could be Post Falls, it could be Meridian. Some of these other divisions, it could be Minico, it could be Bishop Kelly. Not every team's at full strength every week, so it's really different. Plus, having the out-of-state schools disrupts the flow a little bit to really, truly pin it down. But it's going to be a great state tournament by the end of the year.
Kellogg had champions at 106, Loudon White, 113, Colton Story, 126, Carson Hinkleman, and I thought there was one other, but those three definitely top of the podium. And then, we had some other cool stories, like Caden Schaff from Nez Perce, little tiny 1A school. He won the 120-pound title over a kid from Pasco, the Tri-Cities in Washington, which is pretty cool. Tri-Valley came up to this meet and did pretty good as a team. Hunter Gamble from Clearwater Valley continuing to wrestle well at 138. He'll be a factor at the 3A state meet later on this year as well. And Connor Christensen, also from Clearwater Valley. So Kuski, Clearwater Valley, had two individual champions. Wyatt Mora from Tri-Valley won at 175. Lewiston did have two champs as well. Parker Bagley in the heavyweights. That dude's an absolute stud on the football field also. And then Lewiston's other champ was Mason Fowling at 157. So those are some of the individual highlights there. Coeur d'Alene was at this tournament as well. It wasn't their full lineup or anything, but they still took fourth. And then Tri-Valley guys took third, actually. Again, and they were, at 166, that's only 14 points behind Kellogg. So,
yeah, that's an impressive showing from Tri-Valley. It looks like that Eli Noah's match at 190, that final looked like a barn burner there too, a 10-9 score. So it was the kid from Newport. So Noah's a stud.
Yeah, no doubt. Here's you were talking about how great of a job Connor Wood did officiating the Tiger-Grizz. He says, "Gee, thanks, Brian." Some comments from the Clearwater Classic. Here's Sheila Severson Nelson. Shout out to Connor Christensen and Hunter Gamble, your champs, 165 138. And Hunter Gamble was the OW from Clearwater Valley at the Clearwater Classic. That's awesome. And then Connor talking about 4A wrestling, Homedale, American Falls, Snake River on the hunt for the state title. Yeah, the only problem I keep talking about is American Falls and Snake River are going to take away from each other because they're in the same district. So that District 5 meet is going to be so critical to how this all gets calculated up. And it's not like Homedale has a wide open path. I mean, Fruitland's still hanging out in their district, and they've got some tough schools over there too. But yeah, that's going to be a really big factor. We can't really say until we know for sure who's all there and competing for each of these teams.
Right. Yeah. I mean, maybe Buell is the beneficiary of all that. American Falls, Snake River beat each other up. Homedale, Fruitland beat each other up. And maybe Buell sometimes, it's so hard to call it. I mean, and, American Falls, Snake River, you can't ever count out, some of the other schools in that conference too are going to bring some kids through. So it's going to be fun to watch.
So I got something for both of you this weekend. Is there a freshman that's sort of stood out that's like, wow, this kid may be, we've been talking about the incoming freshmen. Is there any freshmen out there that you watched this past weekend and saying, yeah, I think they're going to be in the mix this year?
Scout Scott comes to mind right away. I mean, third, that lost to the Fowler kid from Corner Canyon, who is an absolute beast. But Scout Scott, obviously, placer at Raleigh Lane as a freshman, third at Tiger-Grizz. Titan Freeman was in the finals. It's 98, so there's a lot of freshmen there, but Titan Freeman looks really good for a freshman. So those are two that come to mind right away. Right.
Yeah. I see Blake Nguyen from Meridian. He's a freshman at 215s. I've been watching him since he was in the 7th and 8th grade. He took 4th at Tiger-Grizz, so he's another young up-and-coming upperweight that may be in contention for a medal this year. Tough kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of those lighter weights, Emilio Peterson from Madison places, freshman, looks really solid, probably only 4 or 5 losses on the season. So there's a few others in the lighter weights, but you get to those upper and, somebody at 215, that's impressive to watch a freshman compete like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it doesn't happen a lot. So that's for sure. Yes. Guys, I wanted to touch on the Magic Valley Classic was held. Wendell hosts that every year. They had a pretty good sampling of teams that came over. It was a lot of Magic Valley schools, of course, but it looks like Burley was there, Wendell, Twin Falls, Salmon came down and competed in it. Middleton went over from the Treasure Valley, so it was kind of a good mix. I didn't see a ton of results from the actual competition, but it looked like it was a pretty good meet overall over there in Wendell. Definitely on the girls' side too.
Yeah. It's fun to see Butte County have some kids for years and years. If there was anybody at Butte County, they would go with West Jefferson or combine up. So, they had a champion at that. Braden Cousins used to be at Blackfoot, now in Butte County. So it's fun to see Butte County have, a few kids and actually competing under the Butte County title rather than West Jefferson. So that was cool, I thought.
Yeah, for sure. Getting tons of comments here in the chat, guys. Here's Connor Wood. Jackson Phillip of Snake River, potential contender at 98. He's a JV wrestler, but has the chance to beat his varsity. So, yeah, that's the thing too, right? You never know if somebody gets hot and beats the upperclassmen and earns the spot to compete at districts, for sure. Here is John Blaisdell from Malad. Tiger Grind was a great tournament in Aberdeen. Awesome turnout with teams, tough matches. That tournament is growing and getting tougher and tougher. We're going to talk about that in just a second here. Amanda Bagley, we love when moms are on the show here. Parker Bagley is the GOAT. As his mom, I am biased, but 5 matches completed in 60 seconds, Al. That's pretty good.
That's amazing. Yeah, he's fun to watch for sure. Going to be fun to watch him the rest of the season.
Boy, if only I could put in 5 matches worth of work in 60 seconds. That'd be quite a. JHHB wants to know, hey, what are your thoughts on Middleton wrestling? Al, as our Treasure Valley guy, I know Middleton is getting better. They've got a couple of studs that anchor the lineup. We've talked about Ryan Lewis a lot this year. I'm not sure numbers-wise they're quite ready to compete with the upper end of that 5A classification. And then next year, of course, they're moving up to 6A, which is going to be even more difficult. But Middleton is a team I think could, if everything kind of falls right, top 5 at state.
They will definitely be competitive. They have great coaching there. They put in the time in the off season. Got some good wrestlers coming out there. They're going to be competitive. They're rebuilding a little bit right now, but I think they have a bright future moving forward.
Yeah, they've got a solid squad. I would agree. I think, they're 5-6 there, top 5 or 6. They've got, Lewis, and they've got Kyler Beeson at 98. I think could compete for a state title. He's going to be top 3. They really have 2 kids there, Bridger Kimball. The Lombardo kid at 120 could be a state placer. They've got, 5 or 6 kids, the Jackson Rossi at 175. So, it's a solid lineup there at Middleton. They're 215 could be a state placer, the Bauman kid. Mm-hmm. So, depending how conference goes, Middleton should be right in the mix for sure.
Tiffany and Brian Twait say the Middleton youth program is really growing and they are building it right. That is for sure. Hey, we were talking about the Magic Valley Classic. Here's Hayden Humphrey, who just completed his first season as St. Mary's head football coach. St. Mary's 6 champs at the Magic Valley Classic. Kelby Harvey at 144, Zach David at 150, Amato Stewart at 157, Aiden Yearout at 165, Zach Soten at 190, and Russell Brousseau at 215. And then I got a really cool email passed on to me this week from the St. Mary's wrestling program. Let's see. I want to make sure I get the names right here. Yeah. 3 wrestlers have crossed 100 career varsity wins for the Lumberjacks this season. Amato Stewart, Kelby Harvey, and Zach Soten, who I guess his nickname is Peaches Soten. That's what it says in the email. They have now 5 century wrestlers, 5 wrestlers in their lineup from 144 to 190 that have won over 100 career matches, over 600 wins total combined among the group. And this is from their head coach, Dennis Humphrey, and he says it's a great group of young men. So awesome stuff from St. Mary's for sure.
Yeah, very cool. A couple other 100 wins that I'm aware of. I didn't get posters was Edstrom from Madison hit his 100th win last week, and Case Fulmer from Teton also hit their 100th win. And I didn't see any graphics I could steal, but Brandon Edstrom and Case Fulmer both hit 100 wins last week, I believe.
Cool. And again, we want those photos. If you know of somebody that's crossing that 100 win mark, we want the picture of the moment, and we'll share it on the show. We love doing that. If you don't have a picture, just send the information along too, and we can give the shout out that way also, for sure. Okay, let's wrap up real quick with the Tiger Brawl at Aberdeen. Here's Mark Boothby from Nampa Christian, I believe. Tiger Brawl at Aberdeen was a great tournament last weekend for the 3A schools. Malad wins, again, 242.5 points, 3 champs, a second and 3 thirds as well. Ryrie took second. Century was third, but you got New Plymouth and Declo kind of rounded out that top 5. So it was kind of a who's who of, the 3A teams that figure to be in the mix besides the North Idaho schools, of course. But again, Malad's putting up a pretty good resume here, Brian.
They are. They're going to be tough to beat. They had several champions. The other thing from that tournament, I really thought I love to see this. Caden Bunderson Pocatello, injured, didn't even know if he was going to be able to wrestle this season. Comes back. I think it was his first tournament and wins the 144 bracket. So Pocatello with 2 champions in Bunderson and Archuleta. Good to see Pocatello getting some kids up there. But Malad is, man, I mean, Morris and Maddox, they're lightweights. It's going to be tough to unseat Malad this year.
Yeah, and I believe Bunderson, didn't he beat Ashton Crapo, the number 2 ranked kid in his division in the state?
Yep, he did. So, Bunderson's definitely I don't believe he was even ranked at 5A because he really hasn't wrestled this season. So that's gonna, like you said, there's going to be some shakeups in the rankings this year in all divisions.
Yeah, one thing I observed with this tournament in the final, I mean, there was a vast number of ranked kids in the respective division, mostly small school divisions, but it seemed like almost every match ended by tech fall or major decision. It was very lopsided in the finals. The number ones were far more advanced than some of the other guys in the finals.
Yeah. At 157, of course, Drake Morrison from Malad won by Tech there, 15-0 over Williams from New Plymouth. But what really caught my eye, guys, was Williams was seeded 6th, and in the semis, He took on the number 26 overall guy, Riot Shirts from Declo. He knocked out Martin from North Fremont in the quarters, a 26 over a 2. I thought that was pretty cool and pretty interesting for sure. So
yeah, and I was talking to Drake, as you know, I'm doing the article for Drake that'll be coming out soon. He gave some kudos to Williams. He talked about him in his match. He has a lot of respect for him, considering Drake just came off one of the toughest schedules you can ask for in the last 6 months. He's very humble and showed that kid some respect.
Yep. It's Jet Williams from New Plymouth. Okay, some residual comments, and then we'll wrap up our boys wrestling conversation and get to our girls conversation. Big T6997 says, I'm going to say the name wrong, I'm sure. Tabakis from Pokey, 98-pound champion as well. Here's ACS Idaho. Jesse Ray of Emmett, 126-pounder, hit his 100th win on January 7th. And also Big T6997, shout out to his kid, 150-pound champion from Century as well there at the Tiger Brawl.
Mason he's solid for sure. He's going to be in the mix for state, going to be a state placer, and see how high he can climb.
Yep. Here is Mark Boothby, the North-South duels at Clearwater Valley this weekend. Going to have some great ranked matchups as well. Yes, looking forward to all those duels taking place around the state this weekend. Miriam Garcia from New Plymouth. I was going to bring up Jet. Y'all beat me to it. Amazing match. Yes, he did. He went out and performed really well. And here, Hunt 5588. I'll get the last word. I'm late to the party, fellas, but had to give a shout out to City Conte taking down Tiger-Grizz as a sophomore at heavyweight. It's a big deal when a Rigby guy compliments somebody from Madison. And Al, you don't live over in East Idaho, but Rigby and Madison, that's like the Yankees and Red Sox. That's like Duke in North Carolina. What would be the college wrestling equivalent of
Penn State?
Say it again, Brian.
I got Penn State, Iowa there, I think.
Yeah, it could be that. It could be Iowa State, Oklahoma State. There's no love there.
Well, whatever rivalry you want to equate it to, Rigby and Madison, yeah, they don't care.
Well understood.
Too much. Yeah, no doubt. So, all right, that'll wrap up our boys wrestling conversation. When we come back, we are going to switch the conversation to girls wrestling because we had a fantastic Tiger-Grizz girls tournament. We had a great Clearwater Classic on the girls' side, Tiger Brawl. All of these great tournaments had girls competitions as well. So don't go anywhere. The Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast rolls on right after this break on IdahoSports.com.
It's that time again. Time to get the health insurance you need for next year. Open enrollment is the time for you to enroll in, renew, or change your coverage. At Your Health Idaho, you can save money with a tax credit on the plan that's best for you and your family. Don't wait. Open enrollment ends December 15th. More coverage, less cost. Only at yourhealthidaho.org. Enroll by December 15th.
All right, welcome back. It is the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast live on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, X account, and Instagram account, and also the Idaho Wrestling News Facebook page. Hey, wherever you're hanging out tonight, we love the comments. We want them to keep on rolling. Let us know where you're watching from tonight and give a shout out to your favorite athlete, favorite team, favorite coach. If you've got a question for the panel, throw it in the chat. We'll throw it up on the screen. We want you, the fans, to drive the conversation. And as you're hanging out tonight, if you could hit that like button on Facebook or the subscribe button on YouTube and then share this when it's all said and done, that'll help everybody else find this a little easier on replay amongst all the other stuff that's going on social media. So the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast is brought to you by Green Solutions Cleaning and Restoration. Green Solutions, family-owned, expertly restoring water, mold, and fire damage and working seamlessly with your insurance. Brandon Bainey with Al Fontes and Brian Zollinger, but it's time to bring on our two Idaho girls wrestling experts joining us from North Idaho. We missed her last week, but she is back. Val Johansson. Hello, Val.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
Doing good. Yes.
Good. It was good to see you on Friday, Brandon. That
yes.
was a very fun, crowded event. Very hot in there. But it was a good time. I would have definitely liked to see more girl matches. Hopefully next year we can get all of our girls in.
Yes. Yeah. We'll talk about the battle for the paddle for sure. And what a fun night that was. Also joining us tonight from Southern Idaho is Fred Bartlett. What's going on, Fred?
Not much. How you doing?
Doing good. Okay. Let's start with, I think we've got to start over at Tiger-Grizz because that was where a lot of the big headlines were happening this weekend. Brian did such a good job, talking about everything that happened on the boys' side. Brian, just as somebody who was actually there, what were the big impressions, the big takeaways you had from Tiger-Grizz girls?
Again, just the finals matches, a lot of – I think I was sitting 0 for 5 on my guesses to start the tournament. I mean, you had right off the bat Taylor Brown pins Alina Messerly. I mean, crowd's already going crazy. Catherine Montalov, I'm going to slaughter that. Montalvan from West Jefferson beats Ava Bowie from Centennial. I mean, Maya Bolander over Taylor Drake. It was just literally, and then you get Kinsey Williams. She's not going down. The Syracuse girl was really good, but I mean, it was just upset after upset. Gracie Price, returning Tiger-Grizz champ, gets beat by Emma Younger. So it was an exciting finals because just a lot of these girls are just coming up, and it was fun to watch. So that was my takeaway. It was just it was hard to handicap those matches just the way it turned out.
Yep. Comments rolling in here. H.A. Haas, keep promoting the best sport on earth, fellas and lady. Much love from Lewiston for sure. Rick Sharp says, congrats to Emma Younger, Post Falls champ at 125, and also Callie Brown of Post Falls, who took third at 130. Callie beat Hunt, who is ranked fourth at 130, so that's a good victory there. Go Taylor Brown, of course, from Thunder Ridge. And Susan says, some incredible girls matches. And Lana says, wow, those are some big upsets. Yeah. Fred, we saw kind of the usual suspects, right? Kyler Scott from Century at 130. That didn't surprise anybody. Brian mentioned Kinsey Williams from American Falls at 115. Kiana Conrad from Blackfoot at 135. But there were some crazy results. And, Taylor Brown is somebody we haven't talked about a lot this year. She's had a nice start to her career and then had some injuries. But I think this was a really nice moment for her to get first place at 100 right out of the chute.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to see Taylor Brown. I don't know if they're all upsets. I mean, I think you're just seeing girls in general are they're evenly matched. You're seeing more and more girls step up to the plate there and seeing them compete. So each week, I think it's week to week, like they're making adjustments. Some of these girls are taking losses to these other girls. So you have Raleigh Lane champs. Now you have Tiger-Grizz champs, and next week you're going to have a whole new set of girls that are pushing each other. So it's really exciting to see that like the girls are competing against each other at a high level. So
yeah, if you're on that top perch, it may not be for long because there's 5, 6, 7 girls that are all clamoring for that top position. Here's Tiffany and Brian in the chat. They say, agreed, finals matches certainly did not go chalk. It was great to see some new faces on top of the podium, and it'll only make those girls who lost more hungry. Iron is sharpening iron. Val, I know you were very plugged into what North Idaho was doing, but did you see anything from Tiger-Grizz that you were like, that's a big result?
I think that Emma Younger match, that's a big result. That's a big deal for her. She's a senior, and she's just been one of those quiet wrestlers who just kind of has been quietly climbing, very maybe not under our radar, but would be under like the general consensus radar. And so that I think that was just a huge, massive win. And also the Post Falls girls as a whole, they went in there. They were, I think, if you look at like the seed difference, they were the lowest seed that had the most movement in the tournament, and to end up in 4th place, that's pretty impressive for that squad.
Yeah, they took 4th overall in the team race. Thunder Ridge, Eagle, and Meridian, your top 3. Connor Wood wants to know any updates on how the older Price girl from Thunder Ridge at 145 is doing. That's Ava Price. She beat Mia Peary of Preston in the final. So I don't know if anybody's heard anything, or maybe in the chat somebody can pass along information there.
Yeah,
or go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, she's going to make a full recovery. Just had some lower back. It looks like compressed discs, but from what I understand, going to be out a few weeks for sure, maybe 5, 6. But going to make a full recovery and doing great. That was hard to see. That was a DQ. She won by DQ there early in the match, and I heard she was not happy when they had to cut her singlet off her. So it was a scary trying to find her a replacement singlet since that one was ruined. So that was scary, and I'm glad, prayers that she recovers. But from what I hear, it's going to be a full recovery.
Yeah, and Billy and Chelsea from Thunder Ridge, confirming compression fracture there. Amanda Younger says, amen, praying for her. She's one awesome young lady. And Rick Sharp's Post Falls girls team has come a long way. And Chris Groller, I am 100% biased, but watching my granddaughter, Emma Stansell from Cuna, killing it this year at 140 pounds. So many exciting matches. Yeah, I wanted to talk about 140, Fred, to get your opinion. Olivia Bezdacek from Jerome and Kiana Conrad from Blackfoot finally split off. They had been competing against each other so much this year. Olivia wins at 140. Kiana wins at 135. I thought that was just a nice change of pace there.
Yeah, they're probably a little bit tired of wrestling each other right now. Be interested to see what happens there. Saw Kiana up at 140 last weekend at the Jaybird. So you see a little bit of shuffling before the state tournament, I'm sure. Be trying to find their spot. I noticed Charlie Robinson's back from Rigby, and that's really exciting. She's coming off a knee injury that was pretty severe, so it's really cool to see those girls come back and be back in the lineups. And
I want to give a thumbs up to at 125's Caddy Saberti. I had the honor of writing an article last year on her. As we know, she's been through a lot of adversity. Whether she was going to be able to wrestle last year, she did wrestle last year, came up short at state championship. But this year, I know she worked over the summer. This year, she's really stepping up. Raleigh Lane, she lost a match in the finals against Noah from Tri-Valley at the Jaybird. But at this tournament, she made the finals, and she looked like she was on fire, like she's hungry this year. So good job. Still got a lot of work to go for the rest of the season, but I just want to give her a thumbs up for her efforts.
Yeah, Al, I wanted to ask you about her specifically because when you wrote that article last year, she was competing as the lone Garden Valley High Wolverine. They were going to cut the program, and she basically had to go fundraise herself to be able to travel to all of these tournaments and compete. She's now competing with Eagle. Is she still making that drive from Garden Valley, just competing with a school that's got an actual team? We see that on the boys' side with a Hagerman wrestler will wrestle with Gooding during the regular season, but then he'll go compete with Hagerman at state. I know there's a kid from Kendrick who's doing that as well. Is that what Caddy is doing? Is she going to be?
I believe they live local. So.
Okay. So in Eagle now.
I believe so.
That's a much better situation than having to drive from Garden Valley, which is not close to anything down there. So that's for sure.
No, she took it to get in the finals. I just say, keep doing what you're doing. The job's not done, and just follow your dreams and do it. She's a true warrior and hard worker. Has faced a lot of adversity. So keep moving forward.
Yep. Here's the Twaits on Facebook here. Going to have to shout out to my Meridian Warrior girls, really wrestling well and making some noise, taking home a trophy. Pretty awesome group of girls I get the privilege to coach. Yeah, they went and performed really well at Tiger-Grizz for sure. So we talked about that a couple weeks ago, Fred, where it's a program where the boys are having a lot of success, like a Meridian, a Post Falls, a Buell. It pushes the girls. They want to match that, right?
Yeah, they don't want to be showed up by the girl or by the boys. I'm sure of that. So I know it helps our room a lot. We the girls really thrive like doing the same workouts as the boys, and they enjoy competing and practicing right next to each other. So it's helped our program a lot. So success breeds success usually.
Yeah, we do the same in Sandpoint, and they're just whatever we're doing, they're competing. Whether it's a end of the practice game, the girls got to end up on top or at least try really hard to get there.
Yeah, for sure.
And the boys want to see them succeed, which is great, right? In the practice room, they're pushing the girls as well, and that's awesome.
Yeah, Fred talked about that last week where the girls and boys could have split off for Buell and gone to separate events, but they said, now we all want to hang together. We'll all go to the same and keep that camaraderie going. So that's what we love to see for sure. Okay, let's flip it to North Idaho, Val, where there was a lot going on. Ryan Skaggs, who was broadcasting with me on Friday night. On the boys' side, we talked about it a little bit earlier in the show, how Lakeland had all those lineup changes, and we were trying to keep up with it. He said, Brandon, Lakeland just made another lineup change.
That is actual facts.
That's pretty funny. Pretty funny. We did a pretty good job keeping track of it once we figured out that there was some changes to the lineup. Just in general, Ryan, says North Idaho girls wrestling doesn't have the biggest turnout yet. It's coming, but the quality per number of participants is pretty darn high. And then he kind of talked about, Post Fall showing up at Tiger-Grizz was great to see. Val, your Sandpoint squad at the Clearwater Classic, and then the Coeur d'Alene and Lake City girls went to the Jug Beck Rocky Mountain Classic over in Missoula, Montana, hosted by Sentinel High School over there. So before we get to the Clearwater Classic, let's talk Battle for the Paddle. There ended up being 4 girls matches. This is a duel where it was a full boys competition. We thought it was going to be a full girls competition. And then a couple of weeks before the event, it came out that, we're only going to do 4 matches, which is an improvement, right? I mean, there was only 2 matches last year, but still to go in expecting a full lineup and then only getting 4 matches, I'm sure it was disappointing for you as a coach, especially.
Yeah, if I put my coach hat on right now, it's definitely disappointing, right? And then our girls weren't permitted to take forfeits. So we just showed up, right? Our girls were ready to wrestle. All of our girls stood on the mat while Sandpoint warmed up, and our 16 girls that didn't wrestle, I don't think they left the mat. We got moved once during the match. The principal was like, you got to move to the other side. But we had a pretty large, our girls were on the mat and supporting the boys, supporting the girls. The 4 girls that got to wrestle, including Lakeland's 4 girls, they put on an impressive show. Those were tough matches. We asked Mackenzie to wrestle up 105. Mackenzie is never even 100 to begin with, so she was probably giving up 10 pounds in that match. And she wrestled Tegan very tough, and Tegan wrestled that match very well as her match. Hunter went against Paloma Park Coffin, who's a freshman who has only been out with us for about 3 or 4 weeks, actually probably 3 weeks. So that was a good match for her. It's hard that when you ask a freshman to go out there for Battle for the Paddle. And she was just like, I got it, coach. I'm going to go out there. And that was awesome. Avery Inge at 120. That was a big win over Alex. Alex is a very tough competitor for Lakeland. She's one of their number 1 girls, and rightfully so. She works super hard. That was good to see. And then Summer got the win at 120.
Yeah, I saw Hunter Edmondson before the matches began because we were broadcasting from the wrestling room. And she said, what are you guys doing? I'm like, we're IdahoSports.com. We're here to broadcast. And she goes, oh, cool. I'm ranked 5th on IdahoSports.com right now. I was like, yeah, we're excited to go watch you compete for sure. And then I thought it was cool for Tegan Patrick from Lakeland. I talked about it. She got pinned in the first round last year to then turn around and get a win, was great for her for sure. So, we talked about this last week on the show about how hard it is to fill out a lineup. An entire dual lineup. You're probably going to have to take some forfeits somewhere in girls wrestling right now. There's just not a lot of schools that can fill every single weight in the lineup card. But tell me if I'm wrong here, Val. My understanding was that they didn't want to make it an official match and take forfeits and everything like that because you can only have a certain amount on the schedule. Is that what it was? You can only have a certain amount of dual dates, or?
No, it was because the reason that we were given is that Idaho is not fully sanctioned girls wrestling, and therefore schools do not have to actually do girl duels. It's a bonus if schools agree to have official girls duels. It's not required because it's not a fully sanctioned sport, is what we were told by admin.
So at this point then, Fred, the only criteria that's considered is how you do at tournaments? If there's no dual results or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to do a girls duel in Kimberly, but I mean that makes it hard because it's hard to get everybody to Kimberly on like the North Idaho girls aren't going to come, so it's basically how you do at the individual tournaments, which they're kind of holding them back a little bit. So it'd be nice to have more duels.
So it would be nice to have the state support us. Really, I mean, it really needs to come from the top down. For Chad Williams to say, hey, we need to do girls duels. Girl duels matter because teams are building. I mean, there are a lot of teams with 10 or more girls now where that wasn't the case 2 or 3 years ago. And I think that you could get 10 out of 14. A lot of times that's the same as the boys' side.
Right.
So Val and Fred, we got a gap here. So what do we have to do? What is the state saying we have to do to fill the gap in order to sanction girls fully so they can do what you're speaking about as far as the duels? What has to happen? What is the goal? Do they have a goal, or do we have a goal, or do we both have a goal? Have they given you a criteria?
There hasn't been any talk about fully sanctioning girls wrestling. It's been talk about dividing the girls into another division, but always being under the umbrella of the boys wrestling, which is a little bit sad. I mean, they don't do that with any other girl sports.
Right.
They probably.
Has anyone explored other states that have both the boys and girls separately sanction what they're doing? Do they have a criteria or sort of a model we can follow to build towards or share with the IHSAA?
So I feel like Montana, just if we're going to go with states that are a little bit comparable to us, right? They're a more rural state like we are. They actually wrote, because what we struggle with, right, is rural schools. How are rural schools going to actually have two separate teams when they don't have those resources? And Montana wrote it into their bylaws that if you are a rural school and you are unable, right, to field a full team girls, you can still practice with the boys. You can still be part of that, but we still recognize you as being fully sanctioned. We still have our classifications for you. And they did that from day one. So I feel like Montana, we might be able to look theirs. And then of course,
I'd recommend doing that. I mean,
yeah.
As an example, if you look at this game just came out today. I'm sorry, guys, real quick. New York, right? We always like to talk about New York, but they have had girls sanctioned for 3 years, right? And their 3-year growth was 92.12%.
92 point what percent?
92.12 in a 3-year, year over year. That is impressive. They sanctioned in 23-24 with 1,300 girls, and 25-26, they have 2,600, almost 2,600 girls.
What was their average growth prior to that change? Do you know?
I don't, because they weren't sanctioned prior to 2023.
So I'm a little confused here, and maybe somebody out there watching, or maybe Brandon, I thought it was full. I've never heard this before. I almost think that they're just wrong. What they're telling you is wrong. I thought in 2020, when they sanctioned a state tournament, it is fully sanctioned as a sport. I mean, we have paid separate girls coaches here. So am I missing something there? Is it not fully sanctioned already?
They sanctioned a girls tournament. That's what they sanctioned. They sanctioned a state championship for girls. But
They added a division to wrestling. They added a division.
Yeah.
That's all they did.
Oh.
Okay. See, I was with you, Brian. I thought it was, I thought we were full reign ready to go, but.
And the reasoning probably more than anything is funding for especially the rural communities. How were they going to fund a whole nother program? So they did it this way as kind of a way to get it off the ground, I guess. But I think it does a disservice to our girls. So.
Yeah. Well, we're getting lots of support in the chat here. Rick, why is it not fully sanctioned? It's getting huge. Josh, let girls wrestle, period. Amanda asks, is that a Title IX issue? Ryan says, I've been told it was a Title IX issue because you would have to provide equal participation, if I'm not mistaken. Tiffany and Brian say, Val, I would have lost my mind if I heard that excuse. Treat it like a varsity sport, and it will behave like one. Treat it like a second-class sport. It will also behave like that. That answer is not satisfactory. Just build it, and they will come, Richard says. Billy and Chelsea say that there needs to be separate boys and girls, end of story. That's how Taylor originally got injured. Just an excuse. Brian, you got an agreement here. Doesn't pass the sniff test. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're ready, especially with the larger, 6A, 5A, 4A schools. We're ready for duels, and we're ready to have that next piece of the puzzle. So I guess if you are out there, if you're watching this, you can always write into, every district in Idaho has a representative on the IHSAA board. They're all listed on the IHSAA website. You can find out who represents your district wherever you live, District 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and send some correspondence in and show your support. A lot of times to make change, you have to make the voice and be vocal about the change you want. So that would be my recommendation to all the fans out there.
And in the meantime, our girls are just going to keep wrestling, and they're going to keep showing up. And we're just going to keep growing this sport with or without the state. We're going to keep growing.
Yeah, it's not a complex problem to solve. The precedent's been set throughout the country and other states. We just have to look at what they're doing, what has to happen. I mean, look at the revenue that's being generated by the girls at state. It's that much more. So, I mean, it's possible. So hopefully we'll keep working towards that and support the change.
Yep. HA gets the last word here. Keep doing what you're doing, gang. It starts with growing the culture of wrestling. The numbers will grow, and after we have numbers, it'll be a no-brainer to have girls take their rightful spot. Shows like this, the rankings, the events are key to the culture. Kudos to everyone supporting the movement. And we get an amen for Val in there, too, from Billy and Chelsea. So we appreciate it for sure. So let's move on to more happy things, Val. After your girls competed in Friday night, you went down to Lewiston on Saturday for the Clearwater Classic. There were some really good girls' performances on the girls' side down there in Lewiston.
Oh my gosh! First, let me just say thank you to Lewiston. That normally this is a 2-day tournament, and our girls have never been able to come due to Battle for the Paddle. And this year they said, "Hey, we're going to run the girls on Saturday," and I was like, "We will be there. We don't care that we got home at midnight and we're back on a bus at 4 a.m." We have been wanting to go to this tournament for at least, as this is my 4th year as a coach, I've wanted to go every year. So this is a great tournament. It's a long-standing, strong, traditional tournament. So we were happy to be there. And wow, Washington teams brought some hammers. Those Bonnie Lake girls, holy smokes, I don't know what's in their water, but it was the finals. I think they had 6 girls in the finals. I think we had 6 girls in the finals. So it was a battle between our 2 teams, but there were some phenomenal matches. Izzy Stark in the finals with Haley Wagoneer from Tri-Valley. Fred, I might have her wrong.
Wagner. Yeah.
Yes. That was a good battle. Vanessa Hood and Sammy Slider in the finals. It was just a great day.
Yeah, Jesse Rice from Clearwater Valley got some love earlier in the chat. That was way long ago. I was saving the comment for now, but I lost it. Tegan Newsom at 145 did really well. Yeah, I got to be honest. I'd never heard of Bonnie Lake, Washington before. I don't know where it is on the map. I woke up and I thought it was a nightmare. Like Bonners Ferry and Timberlake had like combined together for some reason. Yeah, but
those girls were tough. Wherever that exists in Washington, kudos to those girls. They were tough.
Yeah, they had
and CL from Lapaway was the outstanding wrestler of the tournament, and she's a hammer there at 155, and definitely a girl that will be on the state podium.
Yeah, CL Sattler from Lapaway for sure. Brooklyn Anderson from Coeur d'Alene won at 190. Avery Shacker from Prairie at 170, and then Lily Martin from Sandpoint takes the 235 title.
So yes and no on that one. They did the heavyweight round robin. It was Lily won 3-0, and then they took Lily and then one other girl, I guess the second place girl, and I guess they wrestled back for true second or true first, I guess that would be in that situation, and the Washington girl beat her.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for the clarification. Here's Kyle Bugner in the chat. Happy to have you, Val. Glad you can make it. So
thanks, Kyle.
Yes. Ryan grew up in Washington, so he would know. He says Bonnie Lake is near Puyallup, and he says Washington girls wrestling is a different animal. Idaho's not far away, though. Washington was one of the first states to add girls back in the early 2010s. So I think that's a good sign, Val, that you're pushing these Washington schools. And, of course, Sandpoint did take first over Bonnie Lake. So, yeah.
It was good. And then also the Cooper's match with Summer Birch from Sandpoint. Those 2 girls have been wrestling each other every year since club wrestling, and it's a defensive wrestling battle, that is for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Down in your neck of the woods, Fred, Wendell hosted the Magic Valley Classic. I know there was a lot of girls teams there competing. Did you have a chance to look at any of the results or anything that happened from Wendell?
Oh man, I was looking at that today. Who won? I think Wendell might have won, actually. Their own tournament. There's about 60 girls there, mainly girls that were traveling with their boys' teams. So
I think Burley won it.
Burley won. Yeah, that's who it was. Burley has a solid group of girls. So. I think they have 30 on their team right now, which is great. Like, they're not losing girls. Like, they're going to show up with 30 at districts probably. They were the only team last year to fill every weight class with 2 kids at district or 2 girls at districts. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah, here's Miles Bishop in the chat. Shout out to the Burley girls. Won their first place finish at the Magic Valley Classic. 15 placers in the top 4, 3 champions as well. And here's a shout out for Audrey Winkles from Tri-Valley, champ at 115 at the Clearwater Classic there as well. Yeah, the champions from Burley were Brianna Lyons at 115. And then you had at 155, Caitlin Herbst. And then at 170, Chamby Hare. So those were the 3 champions from Burley. Fred, I wanted you to talk a little bit about these Glens Ferry girls, too, because they had 3 champions. Sophia Ortiz at 100, Vanessa Ortiz at 110, and then Madeline Hatchett at 125. I thought that was great for Glens Ferry to have 3 champs.
Yeah, for sure. The 2 sisters have been doing it a long time, and Madeline put some time in the off season last year too. So it's cool to see them having success. Yeah, Glens Ferry's got some young, like middle school age girls that are going to be hammers too. So look forward to seeing them.
Yeah. It's another one of those schools with a strong wrestling tradition on the boys' side. So I know the girls are, eager to show they belong as well.
Yeah, they don't always have a lot of kids, but their kids know how to wrestle. So
they kind of remind me of Declo a little bit in that way. Declo, doesn't always have the numbers, but the athletes they do have are studs. So for sure. So. Okay, and then we had the Tiger Brawl in Aberdeen as well. We had a girls' competition there. This was, a lot of the 4A, or excuse me, a lot of the 3A schools went down and competed in this. On the girls' side, Rich from Utah ended up winning the title. Marsh Valley was second, Pocatello third, Century fourth, New Plymouth was fifth. It was a very tight team race. No surprise that a Utah school came up and won. They had 2 first-place finishers and 2 seconds as well. So did anything stand out to anybody from the Tiger Brawl in Aberdeen?
No, I'm pulling that one up.
No, you're good. You're good. I put everybody on the spot. So,
I mean, just the team scores. Marsh Valley, you don't see Marsh Valley girls around a lot, so for them to be in second, that was pretty impressive. Couple champions, so yeah, good for them.
Yeah, I feel like Marsh Valley is a school we don't get to talk about a lot. A lot of the weights were like kind of the round robin style competition, so that can make it a little tough to suss out sometimes, but Marsh Valley certainly performed well. We did have Reese Yakovac from Century, it looks like, and this would be kind of the Century, kind of some of the second teamers probably were competing at this at 125. It looks like Marsh Valley, Cody Hansen competed pretty well at 130. Looks like she went 3-0 maybe in that round robin. So a lot of good results from the Tiger Brawl. And that's getting bigger and bigger too on the girls' side. So it's always fun to see how these tournaments grow and expand. And then Fred, you mentioned Buell was out of state last week. You guys went down to Las Vegas, or where did you guys go? Nevada somewhere?
Las Vegas would have been a lot more fun. We went to Spring Creek.
Oh, Spring Creek. Okay.
Yeah, and they had a good girls showing there. Caldwell was there with 40 girls, I think, and then Weiser was also there. So it's cool to see those guys, and then mix it up with some of the Nevada schools. So Douglas has a really solid team. They're very talented, and then Elko had a couple of girls that were hammers that placed at Raleigh. So our girl Allie had a really close match in the finals with an Elko girl that was coming down from 125. So I think that girl won Jaybird last week. So it was a good match. So
yeah. And then we did have some of the North Idaho schools went over to Missoula, as we mentioned, at the Jugbeck Rocky Mountain Classic at Sentinel High School. On the girls' side specifically, Shelby Garten from Timberlake pinned a girl from Whitefish at 130 pounds to win the title there. Poppy Shank from Lake City took third at 140, and Aspen Kaiser from Lake City took fourth at 145. So it's good to see some of the Lake City girls doing well also, Val.
Yeah, they were at Riverside Duels weekend before last, and we didn't get to. We were in opposite sessions, but was able to watch a couple of their matches, and it was good to see them because we haven't seen them a lot this season. And so, yeah, they're wrestling pretty tough, and those coaches do a good job with those girls.
Yeah, for sure. And now coming up this week on the schedule, this is, again, where we want to hear from all of you, the fans in the chat. Let us know where your team is going to compete this weekend. We want to know what are the big matchups, what are the big tournaments we need to keep an eye on. This is kind of like duels weekend. There's like a lot of dual meets going on. It seems like around the state. Fred, what's Buell going to be doing this weekend?
We'll be at the 4A championships over in Gooding. So I think there's 12 of the 18 teams going to be there. So should be good. Us, Homedale, AF, Fruitland, probably the top team. So we'll see how it shakes out. So.
And is that in Gooding?
Yeah, over in Gooding.
Okay. Yep. Val, what's going on up north? Clearwater Valley North-South duels?
No. So looks like the northern Idaho North teams were kind of splitting. So Sandpoint and Post Falls, I think Timberlake, we're headed over to Othello for their 2-day all-girls tournament. And then the rest of the North Idaho teams, Coeur d'Alene, Lake City, I think Lakeland, Bonners, they're all going to go to the Pacific Girls Classic in Spokane. And that's a 1-day Saturday tournament.
Okay.
And then our boys are at Lakeland for, I think, kind of like a 5A dual thing. I think Minneco's coming up. So they're going to be there. It's one of the very few times that we separate. So it'll be different for all of us.
Yeah, it's basically, guys, it's Lakeland, Lewiston, Moscow, Sandpoint, the 4 North, and then Minneco.
And then Minneco.
It's like one of these things is not like the other.
It's too bad. I don't know how, 4A did a really good job of getting their schools together. It sounds like have pretty good buy-in. So 5A schools got to step it up next year. And, logistically, it's probably hard for teams to get, 10 hours up to North Idaho or North Idaho to come down here 10 hours after just being down here. So it's tough, but I hope 5A can figure that out next year and do a better job of having a 5A dual tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Billy and Chelsea say Thunder Ridge looks like they're going to Lander, Wyoming. That'll be a lot of fun. Amanda says Post Falls girls will be in Othello, like you said. Val, Minico going to the Lakeland 5A duels for the boys. Connor Wood says, Fred, good luck to Buell at Gooding. Go get him. So a little wind in your sails. And Al, over where you're at, it looks like Skyview is hosting some duels.
Yeah, I believe so. I don't have all the information on that, but that makes sense. I do want to go back to the boys and some of the girls. I believe they had the Rockwell Rumble in Utah, where Bishop Kelly had a few kids place. They had Mesher place at 144 second. He was in the finals along with Mountain View's Ian Avalos placing sixth. Tenzay Thompson was third at 150s. And Samson Castillo was fourth at 165. I believe in the girls division, 2 girls from Bishop Kelly at 120s. Ava Williams placed third, and Abrielle Jancourt took seventh at 140s. So I just want to give kudos to them. Plus, are we going to mention the college commit tonight?
Yes, that was going to be the last thing I wrapped up the show with, Al. So.
That's all I have.
Okay. Those Skyview duels, it's like Boise, Bora, Capital, Emmett, Homedale, Lowry, Nevada's coming up, Meridian, Middleton, Mountain View, Owyhee, Skyview, Timberline, Valley View, Wood River coming down for that. Okay. That'll be a lot of fun. So that's what's going on there. Yeah, I forgot about the Rockwell Rumble. I'm good about checking Washington and Montana and Nevada, but I always forget about Utah. So got to add that to my list. Okay. Crystal Martinez, have to give a shout out to our wrestler Dominic Martinez for sure. And Connor wants to know, for state wrestling, is the Kibby Dome added to the rotation? I have not heard Any updates on that?
Yes.
I think officially they have, right?
Yes. 2029.
Awesome.
They made the official announcements on the state website in their board minutes.
There you go. That's going to be great, having it back in North Idaho. That's going to be absolutely great. So can't wait for that. Here's our hashtag Molly Monster for Molly Alagi, of course, from Skyline. Gotta love that for sure. And then, yes, we wanted to wrap up the show tonight with a college signing. And so kind of like the 100 career wins posts that we like to share on the show, we also want to share if there is a wrestler, boy or girl, from your school that's signed to go wrestle in college, especially because with only one wrestling program in Idaho, we want to be able to keep track of all of our great athletes as they go off and compete in other states. So Al found this. This is Talia Nichols from Rocky Mountain High School, and she has signed with, I'm trying to remember what division.
I believe Division 2.
Okay, Division 2. Thank you. And so that's awesome, Al. Talia Nichols, she, of course, had that big breakthrough victory at state and really kind of put her on the map statewide with a lot of wrestling fans. So this is pretty cool of Talia Nichols to sign here.
Yes, it is. No, great kid. I wish her the best.
And what town is this in, Al?
It's in one of the Dakotas, in South Dakota. I forget what area. We had we've had a few Idaho kids in the boys division go to that college. They're Division 2, but it's in one of the Dakotas.
Yeah. Sioux Falls. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, that's awesome. So this is what we want to do on the show. We want to share all of those college commits. Al has kind of put together a list, and we'll share the list of college signees that we have heard so far that are signed to go on to the next level. I'm sure there's going to be names we're missing, and that's because, well, it takes a village. So we want to hear from you, the fans. You can always send me an email, Brandon@IdahoSports.com. If there's a wrestler that you know of that is signed to go compete at college, we would love to add it to our list. And we'll keep updating that and sharing that throughout the season because we want to recognize all of the standouts that are moving on to the next level. So we'll do that next week. We'll share all of the college commits, both boys and girls, that we know of so far. Okay, we went a little late tonight, guys. I feel like we do this as we get deeper into the season. There's more to talk about and more results to go over. I apologize for running long tonight. Fred, as always, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Val, it was great to have you back on the show tonight as well.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Brian, keep up the good work. We appreciate it.
We'll see y'all later.
Okay.
And Al, no words needed. You're the man. Appreciate it.
And I got my next article, Tier 1 with Drake Morrison and Malad coming out soon. So look forward to that coming out soon.
Stay tuned. That'll be on the homepage at IdahoSports.com. Good luck this weekend, everybody, wherever you are competing. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you back here next Tuesday night for another edition of the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.